Central will be going over our next schedule preview this 2020 offseason, and it will be over the Kentucky Wildcats. This was the team that ended up going 8-5 in the 2019 season. Overall, really good year for Kentucky, and of course, it was a bit of a decline compared to 2018, but still for Kentucky, this was a really good season, no doubt about it. And in this video, we're going to be going over a few players this team will be losing, who they're going to be returning, and also going over their schedule for the first time this offseason. Starting off with what Kentucky has had, or their games that they've had since November. They lost to Tennessee on November 9th, 13-17, but of course that loss isn't all that bad considering Tennessee certainly improved a lot over the last season. Certainly Tennessee's a team that, in my opinion, could be a huge contender in 2020 the SEC, no doubt about it. They could be a big dark horse. Do not sleep on them. Looking at Vanderbilt, they beat them on November 16th, 38-14. Good win there on the road. They also beat UT Martin 50-7. And then they finished off the regular season with a win against Louisville 45-13. So certainly that was a really good end of the season for Kentucky. And they also beat Virginia Tech in the Citrus Bowl 37-30. So overall, yeah, really good season for Kentucky. They started off the year 5-4 and finished off 4-1. So yeah, Kentucky did improve a lot over the season, but man, they've got a lot of changes going into 2020, which is what we're going over here now with the returning production. It was a wild 2019 season for Kentucky, that is for sure. Of course, they had Lynn Bowden, who is a major player for this offense. He was a quarterback, running back, wide receiver. He was pretty much everything out there. He had 403 yards of passing and almost 1,500 yards of rushing, as well as 348 yards of receiving. So yeah, certainly he was insane in all positions. He had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions of passing, so certainly he wasn't all that big of a passer, but he did have 14 touchdowns of rushing and receiving. So once again, he was a huge player all around. He led the team in both rushing and receiving yards, which is a huge rarity in college. I mean, you'll rarely see that, which is absolutely insane. But they do return their top passer, Sawyer Smith, which he split time with Lynn Bowden this season. He had 690 yards, as well as 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So overall, his touchdown-interception ratio was not good at all. But nonetheless, I mean, if he can improve going into 2020, I certainly think that this Kentucky offense can have a good season, no doubt. But they do also return their quarterback Terry Wilson from an injury in 2018. He was injured after week 2 of the 2019 season. It looked like Terry Wilson was going to be your starting quarterback in 2019. However, in 2018, he had a pretty good season, almost 2,000 yards of passing, as well as 11 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, and it looks like he could be the starting quarterback in 2020. That is super unsure right now. Of course, you got Sawyer Smith and Terry Wilson, who will be your quarterbacks. But yeah, once again, that's all up for grabs right now. They return their second rusher, or their top main running back, Asim Rose, which he had just around 900 yards of rushing, as well as 6 touchdowns. Good return there. They also return their running backs Smoke and Rodriguez, both of them having over 500 yards. Smoke had just around 650 yards of rushing and 6 touchdowns, and Chris Rodriguez had 535 yards rushing, as well as 6 touchdowns. They lose their second receiver in Ahmed Wagner, which he didn't have all that big of a season, so that's not all that big of a loss there. Of course, they didn't have any standout wide receivers, really. I mean, considering Kentucky's offense, they were a big rushing team this season, no doubt on that. They do lose 1 offensive lineman, 2 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker, as well as 2 in the secondary, so they do lose 5 starters on the defense, which really isn't all that bad, but it is a little bit moderate. It's a little bit on the high-end side as far as losses go on the defense. So now looking at Kentucky's schedule going into 2020, you start off the season against Eastern Michigan on September 5th, and then it's on to Florida September 12th. That's going to be a big challenge to kick off the season. You also got Kent State and South Carolina to round out September. You start off October with an Auburn game on the road, tough one there, as well as Eastern Illinois, Vanderbilt, and Missouri. And then in November, you got Tennessee, Mississippi State, Georgia, and Louisville. So certainly that November month is going to be the toughest month for Kentucky going into 2020. And here's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm going to give Kentucky 4 guaranteed wins. I'm going to say you beat Eastern Michigan, Kent State, Eastern Illinois, and Vanderbilt. You got 4 easy wins there. Certainly very winnable games. And all 3 of your non-conferences are pretty easy this next season. So I certainly think that Kentucky has got a really good chance to make a bowl game. I think they'll win at least 2 games besides that. And your record estimation for Kentucky will be 6-6 to 8-4. And I certainly think, they also have a bit of a tougher schedule. They got to play Georgia, you got to play Tennessee on the road, which once again, Tennessee I do expect to be a really good team next season. And you also got Auburn on the road and also Florida on the road. both in the early stages of the season. So yeah, for Kentucky, I'm going to give you a 6-6 and 8-4 record projection. But nonetheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on Kentucky. Let me know what your record estimation would be. Let me know whether you'd have it higher or lower. And also let me know your schedule predictions as well. Let me know your game predictions as well in the comments below. But yeah, thank you guys all for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm sorry that I've had limited uploads lately. Over the past couple of weeks, they've been a little bit slow. We're getting back into the rhythm of that now. So be sure to stay tuned for more schedule previews coming from All Sports Central. And I'll see you all later.